Agasket. Bonjour tout le monde, quelle belle journée. Hello everyone, what a beautiful day. What do we want? Freedom! I'm so happy to see so many people come together for one common cause. Freedom! For starters, if I fumble, I had a work accident 10.5 years ago, so bear with me. I am also a trucker.
Yeah!
I apologize that I need to clarify something from the protest in Fredericton before I get to the important reasons we are here. The Holocaust preachers who organized the Fredericton rally were too busy talking about the Holocaust, whose point was made... I can't even understand my writing. And their own personal information and preaching for over 45 minutes to an hour. I'll talk more on that in a minute. They would not give 3 Micmac chiefs 10 minutes to talk on our land and pretty much spoke the whole time. Bonnie and Clyde, the clergy, assembled on front steps of Fredericton in New Brunswick City Hall. She, Bonnie, said what government is doing to us is unconstitutional. She used the term loosely, undefined in truth. Government of Canada books of constitutional laws apply to her and most of all the people who listen to her on or near the front of the steps of the Fredericton, New Brunswick City Hall. Such building in front steps where people stood is the government of New Brunswick owned city of Fredericton of New Brunswick and not private property. And in this instance, it's not unconstitutional, rather it's constitutional laws of Canada which apply to her and clergymen, her husband Clyde, Bonnie and Clyde. The notwithstanding clause puts in place the Attorney General, the Judiciary, Justice Minister, the top cop, Jean Chrétien, November 5th, 1981 at 10 a.m., said, remove your legal rights and civil rights and judgments. Rights they voted out. So, in our protest for freedom, there is no place for organized religion or political campaigning. This is not a recruiting time. It's a time for everyone and anyone to come together for their own personal choices, not a forced choice for our freedoms. I say this because of what certain groups did to my people and what the Canadian government did to our children.
Yes!
To introduce myself, I am Ikan Pukuit, which means the one who stands out in front of all. My Micmac name is Nagusit. It means the sun, which kind of took a vacation today. My slave name given at birth. My slave name given at birth is Marie Irene Donna Thibodeau. I am a sovereign hereditary Micmac Grand Chief. I was not elected, as were the chief and councils on said reserves through the Indian Act. It's my birthright going back before the Europeans arrived. I have international treaty rights and I am a holder of philosophical matriarchal doctrine and I can prove it. I am traditional two-legged Micmac woman.
Hey! Woo!
I'm here to break the glass ceiling or burst the bubble to clear up some lies passed down for centuries. If you wonder why there are well-off Indians or rich Indians and poor Indians on a reserve with all the money they get, there are reasons. The government has bribed most of the chiefs and councils on reserves.
Hey!
Greed is the main reason. Money and empty promises are the others. We pay you big money, our money, and in return we will be turning the reserves into municipalities, which would make Indians on reserves, as they are now, just like the people living off reserves in the colonies. No more Indians. That's what the government is doing. They haven't been able to pull it off completely, and now we will put a stop to it. Many people believe they are paying the way for said Indians. If I asked you where the government gets all its money, you would probably answer from the land and resources on the land. Whose land? It's our land, our Micmac land, our stolen lands. Then they take the revenue from such land and resources and pay for the roads, the hospitals, the schools, and such, the way we live today. So in fact, the Indians pay for everything you have and use today and left my people out in the dark. When Prime Minister and Indian Affairs Minister from 1878 to 1888, John A. Macdonald, came out with the Indian Act in 1876, that was their plan to assimilate us. It goes way back longer than that. It's 500-600 years they've put that plan in place. They never thought anyone would uncover their plans, but I did. I was raised as a French-Canadian female and was told to stay away from Indians and reserves. Surprise, I'm still here! The Europeans had a plan when they first set foot on these lands, and it is still ongoing and in full motion today. The main plan was to de-blood, mix blood, and take the Indian identity out of any Indians living on these lands, which they called assimilation through the Indian Act, which means to take someone and change them into something or someone else. They almost succeeded. During the middle of the Second World War in 1943, the Prime Minister at the time was Mackenzie King. He said in Parliament, in 25 years there will be no such thing as Indians in Canada. Imagine that.
Ooh.
Speaking of putting a stop to it, there are groups of wannabe Indians who are one-legged. Please understand what I'm saying. I'm not attacking anyone or no one, and you need to understand what they did to you too. Indians who are one-legged, who are now trying to finish off the European centuries-old plan of taking everything away from the Micmac Indians and others. There is a group now trying to take 2/3 of this province, the province of New Brunswick, for their own, which they have no title to as one-legged Indians. It's the Wolastoqey down in St. John. This is our province, we're Micmac. Then you have another group, as old as the Europeans, that set foot on this land, and I apologize. They were so called by them the Métis. They are also one-legged, but most of them are Micmac. They have Micmac blood, so we consider them family. They are Micmac, not Métis. Is there anyone here who has been denied any freedoms to their own identity for whatever reason, including the two-generation rules? You know, did they tell you, no, you're not an Indian, you don't have enough Indian blood, you only have 2 generations. I have my generations done. I have 64 great-grandparents of 4th grade generation. Now, for the main reason we're all here today, I'm almost finished. Dr. Fauci did an interview which is online and basically said, we are test subjects for the genome therapy experiment, where people have done DNA testing and sent the vial in for the vial of spit in for their ancestry genealogy. They have been using people's DNA to try and control something they have never been able to control, and it is hurting and killing people. They tested long ago on Aboriginal peoples. They have been warning us for years, but no one listened or took them seriously. What they have done to the Indians, Aboriginal peoples, is being done to the rest of the population now. Dr. Fauci said in his interview with a doctor from the Gates Foundation that the vaccinated people need to wear a mask so they don't spread the virus that is in the vaccine too fast, so they don't overwhelm the healthcare center. The result is the experiment. Our choices are being taken away. We have a choice and we will not comply. What do we want? Freedom! Thank you for listening. Valalan.
I would like to say thank you, and thank you, Naguset. I only want to say probably what